Good evening, dears. Let's discuss the question and answers from the chapter Role of an Individual in Prevention of Pollution, included in your textbook Nature Matters Readings on Life and Nature. When you open your textbook at page number 77, you can see the short answer question, paragraph question and essay questions from this chapter, but we don't need the essay questions. നമുക്കല്ല എന്തോ ആവശ്യമില്ല. എക്സാമിന് ഷോർട്ട് ആൻസറും പാരഗ്രാഫും മാത്രമേ ചോദിക്കുള്ളൂ. സോ അത് മാത്രം ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്താൽ മതി. സോ നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം ഫസ്റ്റ് ഷോർട്ട് ആൻസർ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ്. The first question is, state two ways for the individual to improve the environmental quality. Answer: we should try to use pesticides in our home only when absolutely necessary. We should try to plant trees wherever we can, and more importantly, we should take care of them. സോ ഈ ഒരു ചാപ്റ്ററിലെ മോസ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് ദ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് നമ്മൾ ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബേസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ളതല്ല, നമ്മളുടെ അറിവും ഒക്കെ വെച്ച് നമ്മൾ എഴുതേണ്ട ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആണ്. സോ നെക്സ്റ്റ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ നോക്കേ, വാട്ട് ആർ ദ അഡ്വാൻറ്റേജസ് ഓഫ് കമ്പോസ്റ്റിംഗ്? ആൻസർ ചെയ്ത composting encourages the production of beneficial bacteria and fungi. It enriches soil, helping retain moisture and suppress plant diseases and pests. Now let's move on to the third question. Why should we reduce the use of wood and paper? Answer: we should try to avoid buying forest-based wood items for furniture, windows, etc. to reduce deforestation. Paper producing factories contribute to a large amount of environmental pollution. Now the fourth question. What is organic farming? Answer: organic farming is an agricultural system that uses fertilizers of organic origin such as compost manure, green manure, etc. Organic farming system originated early in the 20th century in a reaction to rapidly changing farming practices. Now the fifth question. Why should we plant more trees? Answer: planting more trees helps to maintain healthy soils and humidity levels in the air around the world. Planting more trees helps in reducing soil erosion. Now the sixth question. Enumerate the advantages of cloth bag over plastic bags. Answer: cloth bags are reusable. Cloth bags reduce plastic use and therefore help reduce plastic pollution. Now the seventh question. What is waste segregation? Give examples. Answer: waste segregation means dividing waste into dry and wet. Dry waste includes wood and related products, metals and glass. Wet waste typically refers to organic waste usually generated by eating establishments. Now the eighth question. How can we educate ourselves to be better citizens? Answer: in order to educate ourselves to be better citizens, we have to ask ourselves some questions like, what do we know about the place where we live in? How are we connected to the earth and other living things? what is our purpose and responsibility as human beings. Now the ninth question. What are the 3 R's to improve environmental quality? Answer. The 3 R's to improve environmental quality are reduce, reuse and recycle. All these help to cut down on the amount of waste we throw away. Now the 10th question. Why is the reduction of fossil fuel use important? Answer. Fossil fuels use has been linked to atmospheric pollution, global warming, and health problems. Only by reducing dependency on fossil fuels, we can mitigate these huge issues. Now we have finished discussing the short answer questions. We will move on to the paragraph questions. The first question is, what are the advantages of solar energy? Answer. The sun is an endless source of energy which radiates on the earth every day. This great heat lamp in the sky can help us to collect solar energy. The limit of our use of solar energy has opened up and brings a new idea or invention every day. The heat and light we receive from the sun are what constitutes the solar energy. Sun is the ultimate source of life on the earth. Had it not been for sun, there would not have been any life on the earth. Solar energy is a renewable form of energy, as we have the privilege to use this energy as long as we have the sun with us. The advantages of solar energy include the following. First one, solar power is pollution-free and it causes no greenhouse gases to be emitted after installation. Second point, reduced dependence on foreign oil and fossil fuels. Third point, renewable clean power that is available every day of the year. Even cloudy days produce some power. Fourth point, return on investment unlike paying for utility bills. Fifth point, virtually no maintenance as solar panels last over 30 years. Sixth point, creates jobs by employing solar panel manufacturers, solar installers, etc., and in turn helps the economy. Seventh point, can be installed virtually anywhere in a field to on a building. Eighth point, use batteries to store extra power for use at night. Ninth point, solar energy can be used to heat water, power homes and buildings, even power cars. 10th point, safer than traditional electric current. 11th point, federal grants, tax incentives, etc. are available to help with the initial costs. 12th point, no trenching is needed since the solar can be close to or at the place of installation. Now we will move on to the second paragraph. The second paragraph question is, Suggest ways to reduce the use of fossil fuels. Answer: humans need energy for just about any type of function they perform. Fossil fuels, including coal, oil, and natural gas, have been powering economies for over 150 years and currently supply about 80% of the world's energy. Fossil fuels formed millions of years ago from the carbon-rich remains of animals and plants as they decomposed and were compressed and heated underground. When fossil fuels are burned, the stored carbon and other greenhouse gases are released into the atmosphere. The following ways can be used to reduce the use of fossil fuels. The first point: practice conservation at home. Conserving our electrical use at home reduces the amount of fossil fuels used by reducing overall electrical demands. We can shut off lights and electronics when not in use, adjust our thermostat by a few degrees, and keep our heating and cooling systems maintained. Get the whole family involved in reducing energy usage around the house. The second point: use alternate transportation. Every time we drive our vehicle, we consume fossil fuels. Choosing alternate forms of transportation saves on the fossil fuel used to run our car. Consider taking public transportation if our city offers a bus, train, or subway system. Taking public transportation allows us to read or do other tasks while someone else handles the driving. The third point: green our car. If driving our own vehicle is the only option, make it as energy efficient as possible. Replacing an older vehicle with a more fuel-efficient car is an investment that saves on fossil fuel usage. For an existing vehicle, proper engine maintenance helps keep it running efficiently. Proper tire inflation helps our vehicle run smoothly, reducing fuel usage. The fourth point: use alternative energy. Alternative renewable energy sources such as wind and solar power eliminate the pollution that accompanies fossil fuel energy. Alternative energy also reduces the reliance on limited fossil fuels. Consider installing solar panels in our home to reduce the amount of fossil fuel needed to power our home. The fifth point: raise awareness. Spreading the word about reducing fossil fuels makes others more aware of the need to conserve. We can talk to our friends, family, and co-workers about the importance of conserving fossil fuels. Forming a community group to raise awareness about energy conservation also helps spread the word. Now it's time to discuss the third paragraph question. That is, what are the concepts that help individuals contribute to the building of environmental quality? Answer: Environmental quality is a set of properties and characteristics of the environment, either generalized or local, as they impinge on human beings and other organisms. It is a measure of the condition of an environment relative to the requirements of one or more species, any human need or purpose. Environmental quality includes the natural environment as well as the built environment such as air, water, purity or pollution, noise, and the potential effects which such characteristics may have on physical and mental health. When we talk about environmental quality, then we are talking about the quality of our total environment, not just the natural environment. Environmental quality is a measure of the health of that environment itself, including the plants and animals it supports, and of the effects it has on the health, comfort, and psychological state of the people that inhabit it. In the broadest terms, our environment consists of the air, water, and land that make up the planet and the plants and animals that live on or in them. In addition, we have to consider the built environment, the environment we create for ourselves, and how it affects our health and comfort and the health of the natural environment. The natural resources we depend upon to sustain that built environment. The recreational possibilities that the natural environment provides, and aesthetics, the role that natural beauty plays in our relationship with the natural environment. All of these come into consideration when we examine protecting environmental quality. The environment directly affects the health status and plays a major role in a quality of life, years of healthy life lived, and healthy disparities. Poor air quality is linked to premature death, cancer, and long-term damage to respiratory and cardiovascular systems. Second-hand smoke containing toxic and cancer-causing chemicals contributes to heart diseases and lung cancer in non-smoking adults. Globally, nearly 25% of all deaths and the total disease burden can be attributed to environmental factors. Now we will move on to the fourth paragraph question, that is, write a note on the concept of reuse. Answer. The levels of pollution have begun to rise rapidly. The use of plastics and other forms of non-degradable substances has only added to it. One way to combat this is to reduce the use of such objects, recycle and reuse them. Hence, the concept of reduce, reuse, recycle has become popular world over. Reuse is using an item more than once. Historically, financial motivation was one of the main drivers for reuse. In the developing world, this driver can lead to very high levels of reuse. The rising wages and a consequent consumer demand for the convenience of disposable products has made the reuse of low-value items. Current environmental awareness is gradually changing attitudes and regulations, such as the new packaging regulations are gradually beginning to reverse this situation. One example of conventional reuse is the doorstep delivery of milk in glass bottles. Other examples include the retreading of tires and the use of returnable or reusable plastic boxes, shipping containers, etc. Reusing is an eco-efficient way of saving resources and energy. It also reduces pressure on individual production, which means lower industrial pollution. The disposal costs and the needs become lesser at the same time. Apart from environmental benefits, reusing is a cost-effective measure for businesses and consumers since it is more reasonable compared to new produce. The most common reusable items include carrier bags, plastic bottles, envelopes, jars, pots, newspapers, bubble wraps, cardboard, tire, scrap papers, and used wood. Besides these, all the electronic equipment and rechargeable batteries can also be reused again and again. There are certain waste materials which are used in manufacturing processes of other products. Reusing is an ideal way to save energy and lower production costs of all goods and materials. The essence of reuse is that it preserves some or all of the energy and the materials that went into making an item. Now let's discuss the last paragraph question. Write a note on the importance of waste segregation. Answer. Waste is fast becoming one of the most publicized and talked about problems. Waste segregation means dividing waste into dry and wet. Dry waste includes wood and related products, metals and glass. Wet waste typically refers to organic waste usually generated by eating establishments. We can divide the idea of segregation of waste into biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. The first one, biodegradable waste. It comprises waste that includes organic substances, example, kitchen waste, vegetables, flour, leaves from the garden, fruits, and wood. Biodegradable waste can get degraded through natural factors. So, environmental issues caused by such waste are low. The second one, non-biodegradable waste. It comprises chemicals, paints, rubber, plastics, metal, aluminum, etc. Non-biodegradables are those who cannot get decomposed through natural factors. So, environmental issues caused by such waste are more critical. With respect to the increasing population and their consumption patterns, the problem of landfills is rising day by day. Waste segregation is important not only to reduce the impact it has on the environment, but also health issues that can arise from waste and toxins that have been improperly disposed of. Waste segregation is also an economically beneficial prospect because it makes recycling much easier. It also promotes the optimized use of our resources and help in conserving it for future generations. The following are some of the ways to segregate waste. The first point, allocate separate bins for each category of waste. The second point, make sure wet and dry waste is segregated properly. The third point, organic waste can be utilized in a kitchen gardening through compost pits. Fourth point, recyclable waste like paper, plastic, metal, etc. can be collected by organizations that recycle waste. Fifth point, toxic waste must be disposed of with the safety measures. Sixth point, other solid waste can be collected by incinerating vehicles on a weekly basis. Now we have finished discussing all the questions from the chapter, Role of an Individual in Prevention of Pollution. In the next class, we will begin the next chapter.